Oh, hey there. We didn't realize you were listening. Well, now that we've got your attention, this is Odcast podcast number 7. All right, so we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. We're going to start with the original.
Julian.
Hey.
Thank you, Mr. Founder.
All right.
Founder.
And to his right, we have...
Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
He's actually here.
Oh, dear.
You got Jared here.
You got John Luke. Daniel.
The one and only Melissa.
And I'm Tatyana.
Same group of people from the last podcast.
It's coincidental.
Yeah.
Totally unplanned.
No.
How did we do this a month apart, Julian?
That's incredible.
I don't know, man.
We actually stayed here for a whole month.
Julian,
Planned
it's
it
great.
out.
There's always food here.
It's not true.
Always
Thanks,
coffee.
Mom.
I appreciate that, too.
Yeah. John Luke appreciates the coffee.
So our first topic of the night or day, depending on when you are listening, is going to come from Julian.
Okay, so mine is an interesting thought that I had, I think yesterday when I was thinking about this. The title is Self-Expression Through Art. All of us like participating in different art forms. I think most of us anyway. I do. But sometimes we have one art form that we do just for ourselves. Like, we really appreciate this. It's a way that we know how to express ourselves. We feel comfortable doing it that way. It may not be the way that other people like most, may not be the way that other people understand most, but it's the thing that we do for ourselves that we really like, and it's self-expression through art. So for me, that is actually making films, and specifically narrative films. I feel like I have a lot of control over the story and crafting an experience that I can use and share with other people, and they can get that. But not necessarily do they get all of the emotion and all the thoughts that went into that I understand when I'm making that. I think something maybe like piano or an instrument or something for me might be understood more readily by other people, but that's the one that I like best. So for you guys, what's your favorite art form in that way for self-expression?
Before we even get into that, I'd just like to say, Julian, the other day I was going through some boxes as I just moved, and I actually found a CD you gave me of a little movie you made. This has got to be like 10 years ago. It was called Cheese. I believe.
Yes, I remember that one.
And I was just like,
Cheese, the movie.
This has got to be like 10 years old.
That's my first
so
animated movie.
There we go. I got an original.
Yeah.
Sell that on eBay.
Sell me- yep.
Wait, get an autograph first. There you go.
Yeah, have me on.
Game over. I'm rich now. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I made it in MS Paint, actually.
Oh.
I made all of those frames in MS Paint, and it was my beautiful voice over it.
Hello.
Exactly, yeah. I was probably about that age.
8-year-old voice.
Yeah.
I can't fail the algebra exam.
Yeah, that was fun. I can't believe you have that.
Yeah. Classic. So what was the question?
So, self-expression through art. What is your favorite art medium to express yourself through?
We're just going to go around the room?
Yeah. Tati, you can pick people.
Nope. Oh, I get to
start.
pick
Yeah.
people.
Clockety-wise?
Or start.
Pick
Yeah, just go in
people.
a circle's probably
I'll
easier.
start. My favorite way to express myself is poetry, actually.
Okay.
But I share it with like 2 people in my life. Like, I've only shared with Amanda and Lillian, and that's about it.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm like super private about it.
Yeah.
It's like basically a diary to me, you know.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I feel like poetry is super like personal.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Very true.
with something like with music or something like that, it's you can kind of whatever with it, but words are usually that's super deep. So
Yeah,
You can
and
kind
it's
of
just
like-
words.
very
It's not
personal.
even
It's not
music
like
to it.
interpreted. It's like usually not open to interpretation. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is, but
Music is like
Yeah.
the emotion, and you can just like it's expressing how you feel through music. But
Yeah.
doing words is like literal.
yeah, I feel like that's super personal. That's cool though. I never knew that about you.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I do music a little bit. Not that, I do some. Yeah, it helps when you have lots of stuff on your mind, or you just want to get things and just let it out. I could just sit at the piano and start playing, and it's pretty good. Yeah.
My passion is taxidermy. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, mine's music too. I mean, it's just something I've always done as a kid, and it's always been a really good like social thing for me. Knowing an instrument just gives you a chance to kind of, you can meet someone for the first time, you guys never have talked, and you both just pick up an instrument and you have something in common. So it's always been something.
Universal language.
Yeah, it's a nice universal language thing for me, and yeah, it just gave me something to do when I was a kid, which is kind of cool. I know a lot of teenagers, especially, you get bored and you get into trouble. You go do things you shouldn't, and this was always something like it gave me something to do. It was a hobby, and it's something I carried on into my adult life. So it's been good.
Well, I'm not exactly a creative person, so I don't usually express myself through any real type of medium, I guess.
Okay.
But
So how do you let the feelings out?
well,
Cries himself to sleep.
some nights no.
Stuff.
I just like to do puzzles, gets my mind off of things.
Hmm.
I'm really into Sudoku.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool.
You're creating something there, yeah. So,
Well, I'm solving something
yeah.
that's already
True.
been created.
Cool.
I love music, but I'm not really good at it. I know enough to know that I'm bad at it, so I really love to exercise. It's kind of, it sounds narcissistic, but it's kind of a way where I know I feel better about myself physically, like internally. Like people can see the results, they see you growing and moving in physically different ways. But you, like when you eat something you shouldn't, you feel bad. When you don't exercise, you feel bad. So you know, like I gotta do this. It makes me feel better. So once it develops into a pattern, it kind of is a steady way to make yourself feel better.
That's cool. I should do that sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared's like, yeah.
Very convincing. I'll get right on that.
You've convinced me.
Yeah. And for me, like, the reason I love making film so much is that I have a lot of control over it's basically a vision that I get to share and that somebody else gets to watch at the same time. And I get a lot through editing, through colors, through music. I get to do a lot of different artistic creations that I enjoy each aspect of it, but when it comes together as one thing, that is when I can really get like something more deep than any of the things individually. And so that's what I really like about filmmaking.
That's one thing I struggle with. Like, I'll have a perfect drawing in my head,
Yeah.
but when I go to draw it, it's not exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And the proportions are off and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather not.
I always have wished I had a screenshot mode for my brain. That would be super
If I could
cool.
just
Right?
print
Oh.
what I see in my mind onto a piece
Yes.
of paper,
Amazing.
it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
I can see how the video thing is like it's different than music because you're really showing people what's in your mind and you're putting them in that place. You could see it, hear it, you know. But music, it's just you can hear it and you're still in your own place. If that's understandable.
Yeah.
It's almost like an expression. It's expression, but still keeping your distance. kind
Yes,
of.
yes.
That's
You can
cool.
hear it, but you're still kind of judging. But when you see it, you're like, wow, you know, that's different. Yeah.
I think the cool thing about the arts is like you have these feelings inside you, and this is just the way you choose to kind of get them out.
Yeah.
And you could be like one of my favorite guitar players ever, Wes Montgomery. He's an amazing guitar player, and everyone says it didn't matter that if the guitar was never invented. This man would have picked up something, and he would have let out the same emotions through any means necessary. So I kind of feel like that's with everyone. You chose one thing because it kind of drew you towards it, but if
Yeah.
you didn't have that other thing, you'd probably just do something else just to kind of get
Yeah.
those things out.
You'd find ways to make that work too, I guess.
Yeah.
But for all of us, I think ours fits with us really well, our personalities and stuff. That's like that's the way that we found to do it most. John Luke's like,
But ironically enough, that does fit with your
it does
personality.
though, yeah.
Exactly.
John's like, I do nothing. Like, okay,
I was there.
not
Not
last.
last. Yeah.
That was my goal.
That's awesome.
That's the motto.
Well, I forget. Jared, I think you wrote, what is the definition of art?
That was sarcastic, honestly, because I didn't know what to put.
Yeah, okay.
I
All
mean,
right,
let's
so
be real here.
Jared's trolling me.
No.
I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question, though. But
Can it be answered? Probably
I
We
not.
can
know.
answer it. What is art?
what is art?
What is art to you? That's a better question.
Yeah, that's a better question. It's any way
A
of...
sunset.
Self-expression.
Yeah, basically. I think art, when it boils down to it, is self-expression. Because it's a conversion of your feelings and emotions into something that other people might be able to grasp as well.
Sure.
So,
I have a question then.
mhm.
Can other people's art, for instance, if you go to a museum and see someone else's art, is that really something you can appreciate fully then because you didn't produce it?
That's a good question. And self-expression through art, through this, what I was thinking of is like, nobody will really get any of the stuff that I put in my film because it's like only I don't know a way to express that and transfer that thought and emotion and the rest of my life fully so that they can get that. So I think no. I think better artists find stronger ways of conveying emotion. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that's part of the appeal, though, of art is when it's more vague in a sense, because to everybody, like, it'll mean something else.
That's true.
You know, like when it's more obvious, then it's just like, oh, that's it. What it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing about art is that there is no rule, there is no like definitive meaning. I mean,
it's subjective, kind of.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you can't say something's not art. Who are
Yeah.
you to say something's not? I mean, if someone feels it's like art, it is. So
Polar bear in a snowstorm.
yeah, man.
Do you know what that is?
No.
No idea.
It's a very, very expensive painting. It's a white canvas with 3 dots on it.
There you go.
And people...
And I'm sure it's very expensive.
It
Begs
is
the question.
Beautiful.
It is...
Yeah.
Let me see
How
much
do
it
you
costs.
put a value on art, though?
Yeah.
That's fine,
Somebody
man. I
puts
guess.
a bunch of splashes on a page. This is $1 million.
Right.
Someone makes a detailed drawing, only worth $200. How do they compare?
The funny thing is,
Right.
it probably won't be $1 million until that person's dead. You can't do it
That's
anymore.
what it is.
What an
Yeah.
interesting
That's the
thing
thing
to know.
about art. It's funny because like artists are so undervalued, and the second they die, it's like all their paintings get really expensive and really
Like
popular.
Vincent Van Gogh,
Yeah,
the
just
poor
'cause
child.
they're not, and
That's
it's supply and
horrible.
demand. I think
Yeah.
honestly, when you realize something is no longer available,
This can no longer be created by this
Supply
person.
and
Yeah.
demand.
yeah, instantly becomes more valuable.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
Mhm.
So, here's the picture. Polar bear in a snowstorm.
This is
Oh, I like
wow.
Looks like a little face.
$43 million.
What?
That's insane.
How
Who?
to draw a polar bear in a snowstorm.
I don't know.
1 dot, 2 dots.
See, like,
3 dots.
why didn't I come up with that?
Yeah, you could have been rich by now. That's
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can draw
The
4
thing is,
dots.
though,
Messed
that
up.
even if you did, then it probably wouldn't be $43 million.
Right. Is it
It's just that
person knows how to market
was like
better,
in the
or
right
Marketing.
circumstances.
the
yeah.
connections,
Mhm.
mostly, and
Groundbreaking.
the exposure
I think-
to other people.
Yeah, and I think a lot of paintings they come up with a story for it too, as a way to promote it, as a way to market it. Like, oh, I saw this documentary about these polar bears, and I was just like so drawn to.
Origin story.
Yeah, exactly. But
Backstory.
yeah,
So can people say like that a certain art form, like, oh, that's bad, like that's not good, because like it's up to the artist, like how they're expressing themselves. You know what I mean?
Sure.
maybe it's bad to you.
It's a completely opinionated statement at that
Yeah.
point.
Mhm.
You can't say definitively someone's opinion is wrong because it's their opinion.
That
Yeah.
reminds me
Mhm.
of the movie The Iron Giant. One of the characters was an artist, and he would use scrap metal
Yeah,
Yeah.
and shape it, and he would call it art, and everyone thought he was crazy.
right.
But to him, it was the best thing ever.
And to the giant, it was food.
Oh, Harry Connick. What would we do without you?
It's all subjective. That goes like last time we were talking about movies and how Rotten Tomatoes gives things like an aggregate
Right.
score.
Yep.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just
And
messed that up.
it's like, how can you boil down a form of art into a number? Like, there's no
Right.
equation.
And all these people's expression through
Yeah.
through that
Yeah.
movie.
There's no way, and some people might have an opinion about something because of their past experiences or whatever, but that's the beautiful thing about art is that it's different for everybody that experiences it, and no two people could maybe feel the same way about something, and it may not. There could be something you've gone through in your life that you watch this and it's like, wow, that really touched me, it affected me, and maybe somebody who has a higher taste in things
Yeah.
Right.
just says, oh no, that's nothing. So
Can I rant about Rotten Tomato?
go ahead.
Please.
They gave Rocky 7 out of 10.
That incorrect.
One of the greatest movies of all time. Also, Lost in Space, the TV show, 68%.
Whoa. That's a
false.
False statement.
It baffles me the stupidity of that franchise.
Oh.
Just
Is it a group of people, or is it just?
It's a group.
It's
They
a group of
basically take.
morons.
They have like
Sorry.
a group of critics, and the critics give it a number, and they basically aggregate all the scores together, and they give you this. Comes out through this formula and gives you one number,
and yet
one freshness. What is it called? Something like that.
and then like what Avengers
Yeah.
Fresh
got like what something in the 90s.
Oh, that's dumb.
I'm sure most do. Yeah.
Owned by Disney.
Owned by Disney.
What Rotten Tomatoes subsidiary of Disney?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I don't
Yeah.
even look at Rotten Tomatoes at all.
Good.
I just watch
You
it.
have not been
I
there.
watch the movie and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that was good. Or it's
I
like,
base it off
okay.
my own opinion.
Yeah.
So there's another question on here. John Luke wrote it, I think. Is it still art if most of it is created through the use of technology? So what
That's
was
a
your
good
background
question.
with that question?
So what I was thinking, like basically music, if you don't play any instruments, it's all computer based,
Yeah.
you're just putting it together. Is how much art is it still?
That's a good question. Like, I know people use electronic instruments, and that's one thing. I think that's still an organic way to do it. But how do you mean, like,
It's like pre-recorded chords and everything, and they just put it together like a puzzle piece.
Like
Yeah.
mixing,
You mean like a sample box?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's
the
what
the Launchpad?
Launchpad.
like-
I use Launchpad. Yeah,
Pretty
so I know
much.
what you mean.
So like they have no physical input; it's just all computer generated.
Right, you're hitting on loops and you're hitting on
Exactly.
different,
Just like sampling a bunch of everything,
Right.
and just putting it together.
you're not a composer so much as a producer or a remixer at that point, I think. Is that still art? What does that count as?
I don't know.
I think as long.
I think that's art.
How do you feel
honestly.
about people?
It's still creative.
Yeah.
And you're still like.
It does take some creativity to make
Yeah.
that.
It's pretty funny. I saw a video, like one of the ads before a YouTube video, and this company does like these master classes,
Yeah.
and they're taught
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
like famous people in that genre. Like Hans Zimmer has one for like movie
Yeah,
composing
yeah,
and things like that.
composing, yeah.
So there's actually one with Deadmau5,
Oh, really?
and it's the same company, and it's kind of like what John Luke was saying. He's talking about telling people how to create music, and in the video he himself says like, oh yeah, it's so different today because like kids sit behind computers and they make these songs and they don't know how to play like any note on an instrument.
Right.
And there's actually a part where he was trying to create a line in the music, and he was sitting there manually like doing things like one by one instead of playing it himself. And he says, if only I knew how to play an instrument, I'd be able to do this much quicker, but I don't, so I have to sit here and manually drag things over until it fits.
Deadmau5 doesn't know how to play an instrument.
Apparently not.
Nope.
That's amazing.
That's
not to the
crazy.
level that he wants portrayed in his music.
Right.
So it's more like he has these ideas in his head, but he doesn't have the physical means to get them out.
That's interesting.
So he has
if
to
you're
do
creating it
through this new
manually in
way.
a different channel, that's still art, though, because you still have it in your head. You have a concept, and you're trying to share that.
Sure. That's what I was saying, like with Wes Montgomery. They were saying that he was so skilled at guitar, but he would have literally found a way to get that out through any means possible, even if the guitar was never invented. It's kind of similar. Like, this guy has these ideas in his head,
That's cool.
but he literally cannot get them out because he doesn't have the physical tools to do so. So,
That's super
or the
cool.
technique, you could say, I guess.
See, Michael Jackson he couldn't play an instrument, but he could sing a note, and then people could follow it, and then that's the way he did his music. It's pretty cool.
So people followed him, huh?
Well, just his voice. Like, he didn't
Yeah.
know how to do an instrument, but he knew what he wanted. Yes, to people to listen to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Prince played what, like 20-something
He played a lot,
instruments?
That's
He played
amazing,
everything.
actually.
Yeah.
Daniel, what's yours?
I said has a level of art, quote unquote, been lowered.
Has it been lowered?
I guess you could say that
The
kind of
quality
went
of
in
it.
more like, to what we were just saying, like with technology and things like that. Now that a lot of kids are, I mean, you got like SoundCloud rappers and people are just popping up
Right.
left and right, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I got Fruity Loops on my computer and I'm gonna start rapping or something.
Right.
Like, I don't know. And you say, has art been cheapened, or is it? I mean, probably most people don't do it for the money, but that's not a bad part of it, I guess.
It's definitely gotten easier, and if you're using like something that you're just basing maybe your voice off of or something, I think that's it's got to be less, input of you into the music, right?
Sure. And for me, I was just more along the lines of like how difficult it was to kind of stand out from the crowd probably 40, 50 years ago. Like, you really had to be something special,
Yeah.
and you really had to like be a big deal. And now you look at them and you're like, why are you even in the spotlight? Like, why are you relevant?
I think people are confusing expression with popularity. Because I'm saying, like, you see these people in pop culture and you see them in different facets of media, and you're like, oh, they're different, so I'm going to enjoy what they're doing. But is that creativity? You know what I'm saying? Like, you see a person on Vine, it's gone, but like, you see someone doing something stupid. People have been doing stupid stuff all the time. It's just funny and there's more access to it. I don't think that's creativity. I think that's just that person is popular because of what they're doing. They're not doing anything original. They're just seizing an opportunity.
Opportunistic, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, like a vulture.
That's
I
nice.
see a means now to do something.
Yeah, a scavenger.
People are vultures these days.
Yeah.
And nowadays, the music, like, as long as it has a good beat and like the melody is kind of nice, the people are into it.
Yeah.
Mostly the beat, and people are like all the music now. As long as it's a good beat, it's
Right.
like it's off the
Right.
charts.
Yeah.
And that's what more I was going along the lines of before.
The
I was
lyrics
trying
can
to
be
say.
anything.
Yeah,
They're
it's
horrible.
almost
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Mumbo jumbo.
people, like we kind of talked about last time. People want something that they can relate to,
Yeah.
and they want something that serves a function in their lives.
Yeah.
Almost. So
Like
you're not just
background
gonna.
music.
It's like a means to an end kind of thing. It's not just the art itself. It's like the art with a purpose.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. It's like, this is useful art.
It's
I guess, in a
functional
way.
art,
Exactly.
basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Like
Mhm.
you're
how can this benefit me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How can this fill a?
that's
a
why I feel
spot?
like maybe
Yeah.
has the level been lowered in that respect that people so
I
much are
think
not
definitely
looking at
pop
like
music
Yeah.
is not
Ugh.
like that anymore.
music's
yeah.
an easy one, but even movies too. You could say like, oh, all these superhero movies are the same thing
This is
over and over and
escapism.
over and over
Yeah,
again.
Don't
this
take
is
my
how I
topic,
can-
man.
Oh, I should probably okay.
Yeah,
Aw.
that's true.
There we go.
Is it just me? Like the past 3 or 4 movies I've seen recently, the pacing has been so accelerated. I feel
I
like there's
agree.
been no time for exposition
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Because people
And I
don't
love
want
the
that.
exposition
Because
though.
people nowadays want action, action,
The
action.
thing, like,
Yeah.
with all due respect to the to give to play devil's advocate in the situation, 2 of the 4 movies I've seen recently were sequels.
Mhm.
Just
Okay.
The Incredibles 2 is an example, and
most
Jurassic
Yeah.
World. I'm throwing that out there. They were sequels. They were very closely related to their first films, so I get they don't really want to waste time on exposition because you already know the characters. But I feel like there's no time to get to know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Sure. I feel like as a filmmaker in this generation, as quick and fast paced as it is, I think they maybe know that you can't really linger on dialogue when you're making a popcorn flick like one of those two. Especially those are like summer popcorn flicks, like you just want to rack
Right.
in a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And they know the people that are walking in there are not looking for dialogue. And there's actually a lot of movies that have been criticized for
that.
having too much dialogue. And some and for me, I'm all about the exposition, especially like
Yeah, me too.
in my comic book movies. I mean, when you read a comic book, that's what it is. It's words, and that's what really sticks with you. Those memorable lines and the things they did and said. But I think now when people go to the theater, and I think filmmakers know that these people don't want to sit there and listen to words. They just want to see things,
a short
and they just want to be like,
attention
"Whoa, cool!" And like Julian said, it's just escapism. They use that purely as a way to forget their problems and their worries, and they don't want to take on a new set of worries in the form of words and exposition and dialogue.
Yeah.
They
That's
just want to see
true.
stuff blow up and go off in front of them. So.
Right, that's true. But for me, I love the exposition of a film because that's when I get to know the characters better.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I care more about a film. I'm more invested in it, and I enjoy it more if I understand the characters and I get to know them better.
And their motives.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are probably a very rare audience member, and they
Probably.
realize that.
Mhm.
So they say, "Well, sure, that guy likes that, but we're trying
Yeah.
to make some money over here."
Trying to
Right,
make $1 billion in 2 days.
Yeah.
basically.
So I feel like everything's really profit driven.
Would you say commercialized?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
more commercialized
Oh,
today?
yes.
Watch any. Well,
That, like he just said, he saw 2 sequels.
Yeah,
What's not a sequel nowadays?
true.
It's
Exactly.
so-
This worked
It's either
before.
a sequel or a remake.
But
Yeah.
you know, I don't.
where are the original? Sorry, where are the original concepts
Yeah.
in Hollywood movies nowadays?
So-
but the thing is, I don't think these production companies even want to take the risk.
Right.
Because people do
Doing
try
an
to make
independent
original
film or something,
properties,
yeah.
and they
Yeah.
usually just flop.
Yeah.
Because people rather go watch that 15th installment
Like, hey,
of
I
that
like
franchise,
the first one of this. Exactly.
or
yeah.
instead of trying to
And
create
it's
something
brand loyalty
new.
too. Like it's
Yes.
like I know I think I'll like this if I
People
go to
don't-
this.
Most people don't go to the movies to watch an indie movie. Or
Right.
something that's
Anymore.
super
Yeah.
original. They want something that they know and love.
Or you have to go to an indie theater or something like that to see something different.
Yeah,
Sure.
and even then you don't trust it because you don't know for sure I'm going to like this
Yeah.
because I haven't had any backup from this set.
I
of
haven't seen any
I
other
don't
work
see
from
any
the
big
director.
names. I
Exactly.
don't see any big
Right.
production companies and,
and
a
maybe
low
it's
budget.
great, but it's not going to have a lot of people flocking to it unless it succeeds the first time. And
Yeah.
how is that going to happen in today's movie going industry?
Another thing, if you don't recognize the actors either, you're like,
Right.
who are these people?
That's another thing that bugs me. My topic is how superhero movies are ruining the film industry. Let's just start with Marvel and use that as the example.
Yeah,
Early first phase Marvel movies. Robert Downey Jr. He was kind of down and out. They didn't want to hire him. He came back. Everyone loved him. What was right after that? Was like Hulk.
Yeah,
They had what's his face?
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton.
I believe.
Well, the first one was.
Well, I'm
How
not
are we
talking
having
about
this
the first one.
conversation without George? I feel
I
wrong.
know, right?
yeah.
Shout out to
sorry.
George.
I'm
No,
sorry.
we're good. We're good.
But then, the first phase was a lot of actors who weren't really popular. Like, they were kind of known, but they weren't really big yet. Then the second phase of Marvel came around, and it was a lot of big-name actors, and it was a lot of big productions, a lot of big advertising. And this is how many Marvel movies have they made? Like 20 Marvel movies now in the past 10 years or some ridiculous
Pretty
number
close.
like that?
If it's not 20,
They
we're
have like
close
3
to
or
it.
4.
All the
years.
money is being focused on that, and people don't really care about the acting, and they don't care about the exposition. These are good actors. Like, these are people who are skilled at acting, but I don't want to say they're selling out to safety, but it's like, again,
Yeah, I
sheep
get it.
flocking to what's popular. Like, they're saying, this is going to be the best movie of the year, this is going to be the best movie of the summer, and it's going to be even better next time, and you have to watch this one so that you it miss out on this
Right,
part of the
yeah.
story. Because if
Yeah,
you don't
and
get
there's
That's
this...
definitely a
genius,
building.
though. That's
Yeah.
so genius.
Everything is interweb.
I read this pretty cool article. It was comparing, I believe, one of the DC movies when it came out, and it was saying that if that movie had come out like maybe 10 years ago, when this whole big thing was booming or starting to kick off, but it was saying that it would have been, everyone would have loved it, it would have been amazing. But they were saying we've come so far into that genre. Not only is there just a ton of fatigue in it, but you have these movies that were just action comic book movies. They're actually transcending genres at this point.
It's
so
ridiculous.
now, like before, you used to go to the theater and say, I'm going to go watch an action movie, or I'm going to go watch a drama, or I'm going to go watch
Yeah.
a spy espionage thriller. Now you go watch a Marvel movie,
It's
and
everything.
It has
and
everything.
it's a
Yeah, it has
superhero
all
movie,
of it.
but it's really a drama, and you're going to watch
Yeah.
it's a superhero movie, but it's really this. So it has all
That's-
these
It has something
subplots.
for everyone,
And that's-
yeah.
And that's honestly why I kind of like some of the earlier stages of Marvel, where it wasn't... I feel like
It's like
everything...
pop music. This appeals to everyone, right?
Exactly,
It's supposed
yeah.
to anyway.
I kind of feel like I like some Marvel movies, I'm not going to lie. But I feel like kind of the earlier stages where it was like, this is an action movie, but it's this. Like, it's Iron Man, but it's an action film. Or it's Captain America, but it's a World War II epic. Or Winter Soldier is like my favorite Marvel film because it's a
Yeah,
spy
me too.
thriller. If you didn't know that Steve Rogers was Captain America... He was just like a Navy SEAL who was super strong. That could be a movie. It didn't
Yeah.
have to be Captain America.
Yeah.
It could just be a spy movie.
Sure.
And that's
Yeah.
what I like about it because it wasn't under this whole Marvel umbrella. Like, other than like a Marvel movie or a sequel or a remake, what's the last original movie you've seen? Greatest Showman?
That was
Greatest Showman
good. That
was
was
amazing.
amazing.
Sure.
The music was just amazing. That
And-
was just totally.
And
good.
I know Greatest Showman didn't win anything.
What?
Should have.
It didn't.
How?
It got panned by critics.
Yeah, I did.
They said it was an awful movie.
It was actually one of the few movies ever that actually it made more money. Like the longer it was out, which is so rare that
Yeah.
doesn't
That,
happen.
like,
when
my
a movie
big-
comes out, they
yeah.
peak in like the first week,
Right.
like first
Yeah.
weekend. After that,
And
they
then it
just
just-
taper down because everyone that's
Yeah.
seen it has already seen it. This
Right.
movie actually gained
got-
steam as it went
Because it was
along
word
from
of
word of
mouth.
mouth.
It was- yeah.
So many people liked it.
Yeah.
Repeat viewings of a musical has
Yeah.
rewatch value. So
That and they were saying it's such a hard... I was watching a thing about The Greatest Showman, like a documentary or an interview or whatever. They were saying it's such a risk to make a musical nowadays.
oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
But like,
Yeah.
because it's expensive to produce,
Yeah.
and not a lot of people like them.
Mm-hmm.
You're like going for people who know how
They're
to
starting
sing.
again now, though, because La La Land was in the,
That's
you know,
the thing. They said La La Land was a fluke. It was so popular.
Yeah.
And they were saying most things that they know are going to be successful, like Disney movies, like
Frozen.
yeah, like those are movies that they know they're going to be successes, so they have the leg room to make it a musical. And they know it's under Disney's hat, so it's
Yeah.
going to be...
They have
And you
a
expect a
reputation.
we're
Disney
going to make
movie to
money
have
either way.
some
Let's
hit
just,
songs
you know,
in it.
put
Exactly,
something back
that's
into
the
collective
thing.
consciousness because we can.
It's not
Yeah.
so much a musical. It's just like we'll have to throw in a super popular tune here and there, but
Yeah. But that was actually a really good movie, Greatest Showman.
I liked it. I got a lot of flack for being a super inaccurate.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of
It was.
It was
yeah.
not historically accurate at all.
No.
It was,
So yeah.
but it was essential. It was
That
a,
kinda
Definitely
bugged me.
sugar-coated, way sugar-coated.
It was just, I like honestly the way I watched it was just completely like, let's just take this real guy that existed and let's just completely make up an entire
yeah,
story
exactly.
about him.
Let's
Exactly.
pretend
Which
he
is
was
what it
not
was.
what he was.
But I kind of
yeah.
knew that going in. But I guess a lot of people took offense because they kind of 180'd everything he did, and it's like this
Yeah,
guy was
they really
like
did.
taking people like slaves and profiting off them,
Yeah.
profiting off like people that
He
had.
was not for them at all.
Yeah, he,
Right. Yeah,
he
for
was.
himself
and
Yeah,
nobody
it
else.
was just
He was all
super
about
capitalist venture, but
Yeah.
Do you think...
Not a friendly family man.
Do you think the
Yeah.
French Revolution had a lot as that much singing and dancing? Les Mis?
well, them is
I
oh
don't
no,
know.
yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Musicals aren't like supposed to be.
True.
It's not
But you got
bad.
Hugh Jackman in it. I'm watching it.
I think at the end of the day, if when you watch a movie, you just want to come out feeling satisfied that it was a good
Yeah.
experience, and that was
Yeah.
The Greatest Showman gave me that experience because I came out that I was like, wow, this is amazing music, and I was like, I must play the music, and that was just how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a rare we were talking about it with everyone, and I read somewhere someone called it like the ultimate example of cinematic escapism. Like you went into that movie and you forgot
Yes.
every
Yeah.
problem you have in your life, and you were just so enthralled, and it was such a spectacle, and the music was amazing, and the cast was awesome, and you walked out of there and you were just like,
Smiling.
wow,
You were smiling.
I
when you
feel
left.
fantastic. Like, and
Yes.
that's honestly a rare thing. Like sometimes you go to some movies and you walk out and you're like, wow, that was actually pretty rough. Like you're more distraught
Yeah.
than anything. but-
You feeling empty.
like I don't mind the dark tones in movies and things like that
Yeah.
because it's real is realistic, and I kind of like that side of things too. But most people don't want that in pop. So
Yeah.
I don't mind it,
pop
yeah.
culture.
It reminds me of Korean dramas, how at the end of a Korean drama, you always end up feeling better about your life because it's not like that.
It's like you could
My
be
life is
living
better
that
than
life.
that.
So you're like, yes, life is better
So
than it is in that
basically,
movie.
not last.
Honestly, though, I
Exactly.
feel like
Last.
I feel that way for almost every single Rocky movie.
Really?
They have been they've been consistent throughout the entire franchise for past 40 years.
I think they have a formula they stick to, and it works pretty well.
Yeah,
I think
and even though it's like it's the same thing, it's still there's different tones. Like people are like, why are they making Creed? It's the same story, but the motivations are different. Whereas one thing was I gotta survive, I can't be the underdog. It's I have to prove my worth. I have to
That's interesting.
explain why I'm here. Which is why it was very different and interesting.
Yeah, none of us have seen all of the Rocky movies as you have, but
Me and Julian he sent me the picture when he went with the picture of Rocky when he ran up the stairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that movie. I love the whole franchise. Like, I've only seen the first one. I'm like, what? And I sent him like 12 texts of the entire synopsis of the whole franchise.
he's like, let me catch you up.
yeah, exactly.
And I was like, what?
And he's like, wow, these.
I was like, I did not know they had 7.
yeah.
Yeah.
I felt a little bad after that, but I'm like, nah.
No, it was cool. I was super grateful.
What's
you
your
spent
favorite
that
one?
much time.
My favorite. Well, okay, here's. They're all my favorite. Okay.
The whole franchise.
The whole
is my favorite.
franchise. So there's different ones that are my favorites for different reasons. The first one is classic because it's a cinematic masterpiece. The second one is good because it shows that hard work pays off. The third one is good because it shows that when you're knocked down, you can get back up. The fourth one is really the only Rocky movie with a technical antagonist. You know, it's almost
Even Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Ivan
I will put it. Okay, Sylvester. Okay.
It's like, if he
Sidebar.
dies, he dies.
he dies. Sidebar. Sylvester Stallone loves to do crazy stunts, and at one point he's like, "All right, I want you to punch me as hard as you can in the chest." And then he woke up a couple days later because Dolph Lundgren put scar tissue on his heart because he punched him so hard.
What?
Dude, that guy was no joke.
And he's going to be in Creed 2. And the fifth one's cool because it's like, this is the long-term effects of your actions. The sixth one's like, don't give up. And exercise montage.
Yes.
Hey.
The
That's the
montages
best
got progressively longer.
Necessary.
Really?
The fourth movie, someone like analyzed it. They said the fourth movie is 30% montage.
That montage
Really?
when he's in the mountains training, though.
Oh, that's
an amazing montage.
That's super
that
cool.
soundtrack gets me going.
Gonna fly now.
Yeah,
We have a pull-up bar.
we do.
Let's do it.
My topic is the lack of social skills due to the internet.
I have some things I would like to say about this.
The first thing that I have listed here, it's basically people living through their devices. So things like social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that, you can show your life as being, oh, it's amazing, I'm always doing something cool, what are you doing?
Yes, most of your life is not like that.
No, that's why you got to space out the posts. It's like,
True.
today, 2 weeks later, I'm going to post another one.
Yeah. And people scroll through it and they're like, wow, your life is like a trillion times better than mine, but you're skipping all the negative and dark sections of it. So it's like, no life is perfect like that.
It's not a...
Did we talk about this last time, I feel like?
Did we?
I don't know, but I feel like I said, like...
I feel like we
your-
need to talk about it more.
Your Instagram account is like the highlight reel of your life.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
like
somebody
you,
said, yeah.
you only show
I don't
your
remember.
greatest, most fantastic moments.
Yeah.
You never show when you're down and out.
Yeah.
And feeling bad about yourself.
Do you think that that's being like fake or like putting a facade or being unrealistic, or do you think that's just like...
I think that's just how...
I think most people don't
that's how
like
it's used.
thinking about the negative sections,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
they try to post the positive sections.
I mean, like,
right?
imagine if you did post all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
People would be like,
Would
look at this
anybody-
person,
People
looking for
would-
attention.
Yeah.
They would judge you anyway.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. And that's the craziest part is, like, you're going to get judged no matter what you
True.
do.
Yeah.
Because people just want to judge you.
I think it honestly depends on why you're posting what you're posting.
It's down to who is their followers. Because if you feel like they're your friends and they're not going to judge you like harshly, that they really love you, and you know, that's how I feel. So when
Yeah.
I post something, I feel like it's okay because they're my friends. You know, I've at least met you in real life, and I know who
Right.
you are, and you know who I am. So it's a safe place to share yourself when you're kind of shy, and that's how I feel about Instagram.
Yeah, and also, like, it's more of, like, you can have Instagram private or you can have it public, but it's, like, more of I can choose who gets to see the stuff that I post, and I know my audience, and I know... But for me, it's like, some of them, it's like, they probably won't get this, but a lot of them will get it and be fine with it, so it's, yeah. Yeah, you're trying to think of your audience, though. That's another thing I wanted to talk about is, like, you're thinking of your audience and what they might like often. And then, even in real life, sometimes you see something like, oh, this would be super cool if I shared this on this social media thing that doesn't matter. So it's like you're creating artificially organic finger quotes moments in real life sometimes, and I think
Artificially organic.
I try not to do that, but I think, you know, I've seen a lot of like people who use social media are super like focused on that. It can impact your life in that way too.
Yeah, that also makes me think about like when you're playing music for people, you're trying to think about what would they like, and you tailor it to other people. And if you're playing something and something pops up, like, oh, I don't want people to know that I like this one.
Right, yeah.
Or it's like, this one likes this, everyone else likes this, so I don't know what I'm going to play.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Music in the car is always hard. Like
Yeah.
You hate being the DJ in my car, don't you?
Yeah, I really do.
Better not
'cause
lose
you hate everything now.
your Bluetooth
Okay,
privileges.
we were singing Toto by Africa for like...
Oh, you will lose your aux cord in my car so fast.
Oh, you don't like that song?
Yeah, there's a
funny.
joke with me in that song. But no, I don't.
So,
But as far as like when John Luke was saying, like people living through their devices, a couple years ago, we actually went to a concert over in Atlanta, and actually I went to a concert like a month ago, and it's the same thing. So many people, like you're standing there, and you're like, for me, I try to just take everything in, like in the moment I'm in.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to be distracted by a device or whatever, because it's like finally something's in front of you. You're like, whoa. And it's so funny because like
This
everybody's
is what
standing
life
there
is.
like this.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I
watching
know.
the concert through their screen.
Yeah, and it's just like you're watching a video.
Literally, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I know why you do it, because you forever have it in your phone. You have the memory, and
Yeah.
it's cool to be able to say, "Hey,
It
look
is
what
cool
I
to
went
be
to go
able
see."
yeah.
But
and even to watch it for
when
yourself
you're
again.
there, like you're just worried about like getting a good shot, and like you're
Right.
not really enjoying what's in front of you. And I'm like, people aren't living like living in the moment. They're trying to live through it. That's why I put living through a device. It's like
and when I like every now and then I go off like Instagram for like a week at a time. I tried to do that when I was in Pennsylvania visiting family, like so I could just be focused and live for real.
Distraction.
And it's interesting because no, but it's interesting because I'm not at all during that time thinking about maybe I should share this or something like that. I'm just experiencing it, and I know that maybe afterward I can do something with it, but it's like I'm not worried.
That's because you do not have a crippling social media addiction.
Exactly.
What I do, one thing I really love,
fear of being left out.
Yeah.
what I do is I love to like set lists up of what I have to do today, and then I will literally limit my social media time. I'll say 10 minutes on Instagram, go. When my timer goes off, I delete it, and that's like my daily routine. And that really kind of helps me focus. Like it helps me focus on like who my real friends are, and just kind of be like, all right, do I really need to be looking at these 3 different classic car companies? Not really. I mean, like just delete that. But also like what you were saying, Daniel, like I went to like 3 concerts within the past 2 years. And the first one I took like a lot of video and a lot of pictures, and I have such a hard time remembering that concert. Second one I took very little, and I remember a lot of it. And this most recent one I just took like little snippets of it, and I still remember the concert. So
That's cool.
it's
Best
kind
of
of
both
like
worlds.
when you're taking video and pictures, it's kind of like you're depending on that to have the experience for you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can just look back at this later and remember how cool it was. Whereas like when you're sitting in the moment, it's like you could take it in. Buckethead, I was there, and it was like, doing what people like. There was one song that I was really digging. It was really slow. It wasn't his style. It was really like rhythmic, and people were just talking and chatting and like texting during this concert and being obnoxious. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Just because it's not a laser light show and the most explosive thing this guy's doing tonight doesn't mean you shouldn't appreciate what he's doing. It's still a form of his music.
And that makes me think that we've recorded and everything, but when's the last time you go back and actually watch the
Such a
video?
good
I was
point.
just going to
Yeah,
say that.
such a good
Yes.
point.
It's so
It'll
true.
be years like, oh yeah, I was there. I remember that.
Even-
But then you don't play
You
it.
don't even play it. Yeah.
Even when
It's just there in your phone.
when people go to a concert and they post like so
Yeah.
many videos
Nobody
of the
watches
Sorry,
that
I don't
thing.
watch it. If somebody posts like
just skip
one
through
or
it.
2, I'll watch it, you
Right,
know, but
yeah.
if I see a bunch, I'm like,
Yeah,
Yep.
why did you show the
15-minute
concert?
montage. I'm like,
that.
Skip.
Sorry, guys. I love me some Buckethead. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Hey, man. So the next thing I have, many kids of our generation and younger suffer from social anxiety.
That's
So-
actually
They
true.
weren't spanked enough. I'm totally kidding.
In some instances, I would say yes. In some instances.
Maybe.
I'm totally kidding. Each kid is different.
Yeah,
Each parent is
nowadays
different.
you'd rather text.
Yeah,
than talk on the
a
phone.
lot of people
That's
are
true.
more comfortable texting because they feel like they have time to think. I'm like that in a way, but also like I like the instantaneousness of interperson, like real life.
Spontaneity.
talking to
The
people.
spontaneity.
Yeah,
A phone call.
and a phone
Yeah.
call too. Yeah, Jared has introduced me to phone calls. I never made a phone call in my life
He's
before.
like, why are they calling me?
Yeah.
This must be something important.
Right, exactly.
Is this an emergency?
Did somebody die?
Yeah, like, what's going on? Why are you calling me? Because I just want to talk. I'm not
Say
doing
hi.
anything. You want to?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Wow.
You
What?
okay?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I think texting and stuff has its place. but
Oh yeah.
Definitely, I
Definitely.
don't think you can replace talking with people.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
But then now we also have FaceTime.
I really like FaceTime, I'm not going to lie.
yeah.
Because not only do you
That's
talk to
kind
them,
of
you're
getting us
seeing
back
them.
to the.
And it's still not as good as being in
It's
front of
closer
them.
to
Because you don't get
the
like those
holographic
little
future that we
nuances
all
as you
want.
get in person.
That
Body language and things.
Instagram chat.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh
that
yeah,
night.
I think it's awesome.
That was fun.
that was
night.
terrifying. I did not know what was happening, and I just saw the thing happen. I was like, oh no, what is this?
It's like they just quietly add new features and you just
Yeah.
gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
The three of
How
us
does this work?
were on
It's
like
so
an
true.
Instagram video chat, and then she popped up. She's like, "What's going on?
How did this
Yeah.
happen?
We didn't know
Like
we
you
could do
expected
this."
one person
I
or
love that
something.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Oh, and also like we're not that well at talking now. It seems like we're very shy. We would
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
we're stuck with the texting. That's true. So
Why
when
is
you
that?
do have to when you do have to hang out with someone, you feel kind of odd. I guess.
Yeah.
Because we don't have as much interactions with people as like people used to. Social media, YouTube, not face to face.
YouTube is such a time waster for me.
Yeah.
I would like disable
I watch
it
so
for
many
days
like
on end.
science and like all kinds of stuff.
It'll
videos.
distract
It's
you
so
for
fun.
sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just
Endless
like, nah,
amounts
no.
of content.
Yeah.
Literally anything you want is there.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes if I'm meeting someone new, it's hard to like get to know them because like, what questions do I ask?
Yeah.
It's like, what do I tell them about myself? That's also like when you're on a job interview and they tell you, describe yourself.
Right. Like
You
what
just
on
draw a
earth?
complete blank.
I'm
Yeah.
like, go to my
What have I
YouTube
done
history.
with the past 20 years of my life?
Yo, you want my Instagram
My
fan?
Instagram, yeah.
Here's my Facebook. Explains everything.
We're social and gregarious people by default in a way. That's like how we are. But why is it that a lot of us are not comfortable with interacting in the most natural way that I think
Yeah.
we were formed for?
Because social media is slowly turning us antisocial.
It is
Ooh.
true. Social media.
Mic
Can
drop.
I
Social
get
media.
that on a
Mic
t-shirt for you?
Yes, please.
Anti-social media. What?
I was
Yeah.
actually, well, I watched a YouTube video about it, and it was talking about how we feel lonely, even if we have all this social media and
Yeah.
Yeah.
connecting with
Yeah, it's
people,
true.
but we're not really connecting. Like
Right.
we
Yeah.
feel lonely inside, even
It's
though.
like, oh, I
It
got all
makes
this
you feel
stuff, but you know,
more
it's
lonely.
not real. Yeah.
Because like
You're
a lot of
being left
times
out.
you see people doing stuff without you, or you
Right.
see people like, oh, they have more friends, or they're all
Yeah,
talking,
and I think it
I'm
promotes
not.
envy in a way too, because it's
Yeah,
like
sure.
here's
Yeah,
all
big
this
time.
stuff that I want people to be envious of me for.
That's what we're called.
Exactly.
That's what we
That's
call
so
flexing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flexing.
Especially like people going on vacations. Like, yeah, I want to go on vacation too.
Instagram.
And that's another thing. You don't get the facial expressions when you're
Yeah,
texting.
it's very true.
And also, you can come
Or
across
tone of
completely
voice,
different.
or-
You
Yeah.
could be trying to be like sarcastic or something and lighthearted. They could take offense to what you're saying.
I've never had that happen
Unknowingly.
for me because I know how to use emojis, but
Yes. I know how to write. I know how to
Very
write
important.
LOL at the end of every text.
exactly right.
That
So you
always
know
like-
nothing
That's
I
my-
say
Yeah.
is
LOL,
serious.
I don't mean it. I put LOL at the end.
Exactly.
Bro, whenever
yeah.
you want to say something, but you're like, it sounds
I
kind
don't
of
know if
harsh.
this is- yeah.
I'm gonna write LOL
LOL.
at the
You
end.
want to flame them.
Am I really
Yeah.
trying to say that
But
or
not
not?
let
I'm gonna
them
keep them
know you're
guessing. There's so
LOL
many
is your
rules.
signature on the end of the text.
It just gets
You never know.
auto added to all your
Auto
texts.
added.
Yeah.
Auto ad.
I didn't really mean it, but here's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is the truth, but I'm going to preface it with an LOL. So
I've
we're
literally,
done.
I've literally heard people be like, "Wow, this
Just
kind of
off the
sounds
blow.
kind of harsh." Let me write LOL.
That's funny.
Just because you say with all due respect doesn't mean what you're saying isn't
No,
rude.
it's not
That's
respectful.
so true. When people say like,
Yeah.
no offense, but
Right,
Like, no.
and that totally
If
could
you
be taken
already
with offensive.
know,
I
like,
guess.
offend.
yeah, you
It's gonna
already
be
know what you're
offensive.
saying is gonna
No
be rude.
offense,
So-
but here's something offensive.
So
Yeah,
to offend you,
yeah. That's
Own
the
up
more
to
accurate
it.
I
one.
just literally
own
need
up.
to offend
Yeah.
you by saying this.
Yeah, and you can say things that like just cross your mind quickly over real life talking that you wouldn't say because it's like not worth a text message in a text message as well. I found that to be the case. Like there's a lot of stuff that we say that isn't as like this is not super important, so I'm not going to waste a whole text message on this thing, but I'm just saying it real quick or something like that. And you get more interaction like that through face-to-face interaction. Is that what you call normal interaction? Yeah,
normal interaction.
Yeah,
what is that?
The default interaction. Yeah,
default.
Do you how do?
Do you how do what? How do what?
SpongeBob reference. Sorry.
Okay.
No, for me, I feel like talking is harder because I have lots of stuff in my brain, but the mouth doesn't have connections. So it's easier for me to write things out. And I'm like, okay, I got this thing. I can tell you all of my story. But talking, and then I'll be like,
the brain is going 100 miles an hour, and your mouth is going 25.
That's like a sign of higher intelligence, honestly.
Yeah, so smart.
When you're writing, do you write
writers say that.
When you're writing, do you like squish words and letters together sometimes?
I do. Does that make me smarter?
I do that all the time.
Poor motor skills?
Horrid handwriting. Horrid.
Because I've heard like if you write really fast and sometimes your words get squished together, it's because your brain is just processing stuff faster than you can actually produce.
But it's funny that Melissa says that because I recently started following you on social media, and I have found out so much about you I never knew. That you're like super out, and I never would have guessed it with your personality.
Me, I'm very scared that if I die, no one will know who I am because I'm so quiet. And I don't know what's a genuine fear. That's why I was like, I better start posting
She's got the anxiety.
That's
what we're talking about.
It's horrible.
I think my biggest fear about dying is not fitting in the ground, but
I'm sure they can help for you, buddy. Don't worry.
Did I ever I told you what my dad said he wanted at his funeral, right?
No.
Half casket, clown shoes, squirting flour on his lapel, so when people look into the casket, they get squirted in the eyes, so it looks like they're crying. And and bagpipes because he's Irish.
Bagpipes are awesome.
Does he think that's the only way that people will cry at his funeral?
No, well, I don't know.
You didn't ask that?
Wow.
No, I didn't ask that. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll get it done for you.
I got you, Dad.
I got you, man.
I got you. Yeah.
Love you, man.
So going back to the whole texting thing, like I'm not sure if it's like 100% like the technology thing, like that's creating the anxiety, because I think there's just some personality types that you just can express yourself better. You know what I mean? It's just different now because we have texting, but it would be the same as like
some people like
down.
Oh man, there was some writer or something, she like never talked or anything, but she wrote all this awesome poetry and all this stuff.
Emily Dickinson?
Yes, that's her. Yeah. Yeah, so
wow.
like, I guess there were personality types like that in the past,
kind of
right?
famous.
I don't know names. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is it the opposite way? Is it that more people are talking and we're getting to know more people who we wouldn't have known otherwise if we didn't have this convenient technology?
It's catch-22.
Yeah,
I mean, there's pros
it?
and cons of everything, I think. It's just
going back to the Instagram thing, it's very... I hate the feeling of people's eyes being on me. And so when I post things like my music and I can... I feel like I'm safe and people aren't looking at me. Well, really, you are looking at me when you're at your house, but I don't feel your eyes, and that's like totally what it's comfortable for me. Like
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool because like I don't mind that at all. Like I'll perform in front of people and it's nothing for me. And I literally never post. I have like one post a year.
Yep.
If you go to my, it's like
so
2013, 2014, 2018. Like I never I don't post anything. And
that's true. Yeah.
I think
I don't mind like people seeing me and stuff.
I post
like
a lot
that.
more jokes than I actually post like things. I think I've only posted one picture of myself, and it's other like I post other pictures of like other situations or other like things where I'm with other people.
Keep the people guessing. I like it.
I usually post, if it's a picture of me, it's a picture previously taken, not by me.
It's by one of your fans.
Yeah,
of course. It's like pictures that like I'm in school or whatever.
Nah, bro.
Not just like selfies or something. I never posted a selfie.
I hate selfies.
I don't think ever.
Yeah, so the way I use Instagram right now, it always changes, but I use the posting I don't know even what you call that, but the posting section where you post pictures and stuff, I use it as either some important event in my life that I want to landmark more, or that I use it as like just some kind of art or photo. I use the stories for what's happening in my life. So that, I don't know why, but I like that I have two different channels to
I like
use.
it.
I was explaining that to my sister the other day. Exactly that, but then also Snapchat is like for even more, like more throughout
And
the
I've
day.
never
More
experienced
mundane.
that.
I can't do Snapchat.
I've never
I like
experienced
I
Snapchat.
don't
Snapchat.
have it.
I used to do Snapchat.
Snapchat
It was just it was too monotonous for me. It was like I'm following a quarter of the people that I was following on Instagram,
Right.
and
That's
it's
true.
like there's too much.
Yeah, because then people link them, and then you're just seeing the same content twice.
Yeah,
it's-
that does happen.
it's pointless.
Right, that annoys me. But I mean,
And there's
It's
just
like I saw that over here.
Oh no, Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram is doing that also,
but
aren't they?
That happens too.
I kind of get it because like if I like you have more followers on a certain one,
Sure,
and you
yeah.
want them to see it. But I feel like I have the same people on the one that I have less.
Well, I was gonna add the reason why I'm pretty quiet most of the time, a little shy, is because I feel like if I talk more, I'm gonna sound stupid eventually. So the less I talk, the less opportunity to sound stupid.
quick to listen, slow to speak.
Yeah.
Just let it out and just hope for the best. That's all you could do.
Sometimes I'll
Sometimes.
start a sentence and don't know where it's going and just hope it
I
falls
do
into
that
place.
all the time.
And you're
Yeah.
like,
Michael
all the time.
I'm quoting The
where is this
Office.
going? Because I don't know.
Really, you're quoting
you
something
know?
and I missed that.
Yeah, I'm quoting The Office.
But I do that all the time in real life, though.
I know.
That's funny.
You are
we-
Michael
we-
Scott, Julian.
Whenever I
Wow.
talk, I'd like
I don't even know
to
this person.
give complete sentences, like complete thoughts, instead of just like little snippets here and there.
Yeah.
I start a sentence and then I don't know what I'm going to say next, and then I try to figure it out while I'm talking about the previous bit of it. That's happening right
I
now.
was gonna say, is that
I just-
currently your thought process?
Exactly. I don't just want to be like mumbling, just saying random stuff off the
Yeah.
top of my head.
Does anyone else stutter when they have too much stuff? That's
Yeah,
I do
absolutely.
sometimes,
And
yeah.
I backtrack a lot.
Especially when I'm recording podcasts, I stutter a lot.
I'm explaining something, like, for example, to someone that happened on the podcast, and I'm like, okay, so this happened. I remember the punchline. Okay, what caused... How do I explain... Okay, I'm trying to go backward, and I'm going... Okay, this person said... Okay, then... Oh, wait, this person... And I
Yep.
keep going back and, back and back and back, and I finally get to the intro.
Can't find that good starting point.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
But that's how I think, I guess. I don't know.
Anxiety.
Thank you for your topic, John Luke. I think it is Daniel's turn.
My topic, as random as it may have been, is concussions. And
Yeah.
the reason I bring this up
Please.
is this Sunday, or last Sunday rather, I was playing soccer like I normally do, minding my business, and I took a vicious blow to the head with
Really?
the soccer ball, and I'm pretty sure I'm currently in a mild concussion.
Really?
So
Go
this
to the
entire
doctor.
time we've been recording, I have a splitting headache,
Oh,
and I just not
man.
want to say
Oh.
it. But yeah, so I went to the doctor today, and he did some things on me, so I have to go get a brain scan on Monday. That
Yep.
should be
Wow.
fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've never had a CT scan.
I have.
So put my body in a, they put you in like in a,
I've
Yeah,
done
I
that,
think
yeah.
it's like it should only be your head, but
Yeah, just head.
my sister did it because she actually got hit in the head when she was working at Gap. I think something fell from the
Oh,
supply
wow.
room or something and hit her, and they made her go. They're like,
Yeah.
no, you need to
Wow.
go.
you really shouldn't have slept.
Yeah, actually, well, I was reading about that, and I actually read that was a myth. They were saying
If
once
it
you
was like
sleep, you won't wake up or something like that.
Right.
If it's like a major concussion,
You could go
there
into
is-
a coma?
That's the thing. There's
Yeah,
the
it's just like
thought that
coma.
you might go into a coma. but
What's
if
the
it's like
other
a-
option?
Well, they
to
say, like-
sleeping?
Staying.
They want you to stay awake. I think for like
Definitely.
like 24
Just
hours.
don't sleep anymore.
It's like a certain amount of
It's like
time.
24 hours.
This is
I
how
believe.
much life you have
Ironically
left
enough,
until you fall
ironically
asleep.
enough,
Then you will die.
the symptoms don't always happen right away.
Yeah.
And I didn't like black out. Like you can get hit so hard that you straight up just knock out. So that's the first
Yeah.
thing they asked me. They're like, "Did you
Yeah.
black out? Do you remember what happened?" And I said, "Yeah, it was just somebody kicked the ball extremely hard and it bounced off the guy in front of me and it just hit me so quickly that I couldn't even register that it hit me. Like literally, I just got hit and I was like, what happened?"
wow.
But like
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember seeing a flash of the
No, I
ball
get
coming
it.
toward
Yeah.
me, but I
Yeah.
didn't have time to move or whatever, and it just struck my forehead.
Wow.
So, but I didn't feel anything that night. Whatever, we went out with my
Yeah.
family. I just thought I was tired because I woke up early. I didn't
Yeah.
sleep well. Whatever. So then at work, I'm having a little headache. Okay, but then I always drink bottles of water throughout the day, and as I'm drinking water, I notice every time I swallow, like I get like a little pulse in my
yeah.
temples, and I'm like, oh man, I don't feel too good. So over the course of the week, it gets worse. Today at work. Man, I couldn't even stare at my screen. I was wearing my
Really?
sunglasses inside.
Oh
I was-
Yeah.
my coworker's like, "You think you're cool?" I'm like, "No, not at all." So they're making fun of me.
I
for that.
had one concussion. I slipped in my gym because it was a gym like / cafeteria. It was a small school, and it was tile, and it was real dirty. And I slipped and landed on the back of my head. And it I didn't black out, but I kind of like saw
Yeah.
stars
Sure.
essentially.
Yeah, the dots. on
And
it.
Little
there-
birds floating around your head.
Yeah. But it was a minor concussion. I think another time I got one soccer ball to the face inside. I didn't get it diagnosed because I didn't black out or throw up or anything, but similar situation.
I honestly wasn't going to get it diagnosed, but I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. I have insurance. There's no reason not to.
Better be safe than sorry.
Exactly what I thought. So I went there today, and the doctor was like, he's like, just the fact, because it happened on Sunday, and I was like, it's already Thursday, but they say that sometimes the symptoms, they don't show up sometimes 24 to 48 hours after.
Really?
And then it can get progressively worse.
Yeah.
So they say normally well, I was according to the internet, whoever that is, but they were saying it could take, it could take sometimes,
exactly,
3 weeks or more for
Google
you to completely lose all the symptoms. And they said even though you may not be experiencing symptoms, your brain may not be fully healed. It
might be producing its symptoms even though you're not experiencing them.
Yeah. So right now I'm just going in and out of like waves of headaches and stuff.
Really?
I don't sleep well.
Oh, man.
It's kind of rough, but
Do you have a micro stick?
What?
A what?
It might
That's
not be 100% helpful in the situation, but it helps for migraines. You can get it at like GNC or health food stores. You rub it on your temples and your forehead, and it's like natural, like peppermint oils and stuff. It actually opens up the blood capillaries in your head, and it gets blood flowing a bit more efficiently. It's kind of like drinking coffee, but it's not as harmful, quote unquote.
Sure.
John looks like coffee's not harmful.
I put air quotes because I don't believe in the harm.
Not help. Still offended.
He's like,
no
not
offense.
to offend you.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to offend, LOL, but
LOL. So we'll see what happens. But so Monday I got the appointment.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes well. They'll let me know. But I feel okay. It's just normal headache. My sister Tony as well got a concussion maybe like a month or two ago. Yeah, he was playing basketball. He got elbowed in the face.
Ooh.
And he was out. He said he didn't play for like a month.
Wow.
So he said he went to the doctor. Same thing. Got the scan. And he said it felt like, I asked him what it felt like just because I was curious, hear people's opinions. He said it felt like he just got really dizzy. And then he said it felt like someone was sculpting a stone statue in his brain.
Ooh,
just like chiseling away. So, and I'm probably
that's like a major.
Yeah, he probably got it worse than I did.
His brain probably hit his skull.
The elbow, but like they say like the elbow is the biggest, the highest endpoint back to the body. That's like the biggest hitter. So we'll see. But I feel okay. It's just you just feel a little shooken up.
Yeah.
Should you be driving home?
John Luke drove me.
I was driving.
Oh.
He's been my chauffeur today. I bought him some Tijuana flats. I said, drive me, bro.
Woo. He was dropped off at the doctor. I picked him up. He bought me lunch.
That's a bro right there.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yep,
So
I got you, bro.
We'll see what happens. But that was my very random topic. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I had. I think
these.
I've had 2 concussions. Maybe I don't think I was ever diagnosed as a concussion or anything. Anyway, I remember one of them I saw. I thought it was snowing inside. That's what it was. I was pretty young, but I thought it was snowing inside.
So you saw the dots.
Yeah.
I called the doctor today to make the appointment, and they asked me. Like she just rattled off a list of like 10 questions. To which I answered no to most of them. So I'm like, am I really even hurt? But she was like, oh, do you see dots? I'm like, no. She's like, did you black out? No. Are you vomiting? No. Do you have nausea? No. Are you dizzy?
Yeah.
No.
I also saw a pinball like bouncing around. Like I saw it went through a couple different phases. It was kind of weird.
I think you were just staring at the sun too long, buddy.
And
it was moving.
For me, like I have a pretty hard head. Like I can usually take hits and feel like nothing. Yeah. Hard head.
Oh yeah.
And in both ways, I guess. But especially sports. Like I've been playing sports my whole life. You take a hit in the head, whatever. Usually okay. But this one just got me, bro. Just rattled me up. I think it's pretty common. I think with most people, I think there's like 3 million cases a year in the U.S.
That have gone diagnosed.
That have gone exactly
yeah.
Because I think how many people never go to the doctor. Honestly, I really wasn't going to go, but Alyssa's like, you should really go. I'm like, okay, I'll go for you.
Think about all the clumsy kids in the world.
Yeah. How can they be avoided? Honestly,
don't do life.
Don't play sports.
don't do anything. Sit at home. No, I mean,
sit at home, wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was telling John Luke today, it's crazy how people put their head in like helmets and go bash them into other people. When you think about that, it's like
those football helmets and children's bicycle helmets are not designed to prevent concussions. They're designed to prevent skull fractures.
wow.
That's why NFL players have such frequent concussion issues.
Can they design for concussions?
That change the sport.
Don't play football.
Okay.
Has anyone else had a concussion?
I don't know.
There was
I
my
think I
question.
might have broken my neck almost when I was little, but you know, you know, trampolines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Major way to
That's a
break
problem,
your
yeah.
neck as a child.
Yeah, I was a chick on those, man.
So
My
me-
parents never got
Oh yeah, it's really
Yeah, there's
bad.
Actually,
homeowners associations sometimes do not allow trampolines.
Really?
Because they look
It's
terrible.
really bad.
Not allowed to have them.
Think about
That's
your
the real
safety.
reason,
just
yeah.
pretend, it's unsafe.
Oh,
But
it's
really,
unsafe
it's
for
just
kitties.
because
Insurance issue. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I was when I was really young, I had a childhood friend, and we were like wrestling because I was like a crazy child, and somehow I got pushed off and I went head first.
Oh.
And my parents, they took me to the ER and they got checked, and I'm okay, but that's just don't play with trampoline.
Yikes! Yeah.
Did it have a net around it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it didn't.
All the trampolines I've been on.
Even so, you can get a concussion from bouncing two people on a trampoline and stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like those are dangerous.
Bounces. Dangerous.
Has anyone had any serious injury? Broken anything?
I've never broken anything.
Can I go down?
Go.
You go first. Ladies
Jared.
first.
Extrovert
All right.
first. Go ahead.
Concussion.
That's generally the rule.
Yeah.
What was that?
Extroverts go first.
Extroverts go first. All right.
They do.
Concussion, broken right arm, sprained right arm, possible dislocated right arm. I never got it diagnosed. Broken left pinky toe, broken left big toe.
Dear goodness.
We're ready for this question.
I've been waiting all night.
Index, middle, and ring finger on my right hand have been caught in a door. Middle finger on my right hand got messed up by a football. All four of my fingers, excluding my thumbs, have been caught in some sort of door.
Oh.
At some point in time, my fingers have been caught in a door.
Reanalyze.
Do you know how doors work?
You know how doors work, sir.
Where are you opening the door from?
I was like a kid. Okay, here's the thing.
He's
my
like Hinge?
pinkies, both my pinkies, I touched hinges with. These three, my left index, middle. I'm sorry, it wasn't my right three fingers. It was my left three fingers. I was getting out of a car and someone shut the door on it, and it
I got my finger caught in a door once and never again.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, that one.
Sprained my right ankle. Is that it? That's all I remember. Yeah.
The bad ones you don't remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a story of a childhood friend of ours. He was probably like 4, and he slammed the door in his fingers, and like one of them was like hanging, hanging by like a string of skin.
What?
And he went to his grandma, and he was like, "Grandma, I need a Band-Aid."
Oh goodness!
No.
She's like, "No.
No.
Oh goodness.
Wow.
Oh man.
It's better now?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
It was like
Just
14 years ago.
They sewed it back
A
on.
long time ago.
They put it back
Yeah.
on upside down, so he has to open his finger like this. Open his phone like that.
Oh,
I have never actually been to the hospital though, like for myself. I've
Really?
never had
Good
any
job,
like.
Tati.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's
I was
really
going to
impressive.
say I
Shocking.
have not either. But you know what? I want to say I did. So with my eye, I think. Oh, I know what it was. When I was like 14, 15, I was, my backyard, we lived in the corner house, and there was a brick wall against the back, and I used to go out there and just kick soccer balls like all day. That was what I did, like just practice my shot, practice my ball control, everything. And one day I kicked it over the brick fence, which was like the front of our neighborhood. So I went over there to get my ball, and it got stuck in the tree, like it usually did. It was a short little tree. So I went underneath, I pulled the ball out. It was getting dark. And as I pulled it down, something fell into my eye. So I started like rubbing it, trying to get it out.
Yeah.
Turns out it was a piece of wood.
Okay.
It actually splintered my eyelid.
Oh.
I could not get this piece of wood out of my eyelid.
Yikes.
Every time I blinked, it scratched my eye.
Oh.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just like trying to get it. It's not coming out. And I'm just there. I had dinner, and I'm like, Mom, this is not coming out. I'm like in 9th grade probably. And she was like, let me see it. She's like, oh, we're going to have to go to urgent care. So we went to urgent care. I had to sit there I'll never forget. They were playing one of the Cars movies, and it's just a bunch of little kids around me screaming. I was just in so much pain.
Yeah,
My
that's
eye was
terrible.
bloodshot red,
Really?
just from such the irritation. They finally called me in. So the lady, she just flipped my eyelid back. She took a tweezer.
Oh.
Yep.
I had to pull it out.
That's it.
She pulled it out, gave me. I had scratched my cornea, obviously, so she gave me medicines, whatever, things like that. And I think I had a follow up at the hospital. So
And
I
you
had
still
to go
haven't
there
had your
for
vision
that.
text?
No, perfect vision, bro. 24.
Wow.
I've never broken any bones. Nothing.
Me neither. Yeah.
But the one thing did happen. I was roller skating, and I was using the rental skates,
Okay.
which are not the best quality.
Uh-oh, caution.
So as I was skating along, a small child fell in front of me.
Oh. I hate the thought of it.
I tripped over the child. I couldn't stop. I was going fast, and I fell directly on my kneecaps.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I believe it was my left knee swelled up, and I couldn't walk on it.
Wow.
So for like 2 weeks, I was benched from playing anything or even participating in PE. I was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to do any physical activity. But then I was bored. I'm like, I want to do something. This is boring. So that's the worst thing that's happened.
Okay, I have one. I fell through the attic right there.
Nice.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Julian is pointing,
all the way to the
Julian
dome.
is pointing on something
all the
like
way to the
8
down.
feet high.
Is it? It must be like 8 feet high. Yeah.
Probably more.
But yeah,
more than 8.
I fell through there right to where that washer is right now, because I was walking around up there, and we used to have wood planks that were up in the ceiling and stuff, and then we had something changed in our roof, and like I see a bunch of what I think is wood on the floor. I'm like, oh, wow, they put wood everywhere. This is awesome.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And so I'm walking around on it.
Steps on the wood.
I walked over there. I was fine. And I walked back over here, and then suddenly, whoa, I'm falling. And I landed on my ankle. It was all drywall. It wasn't wood. So I fell right through the drywall. Yeah, but I had to go around on. I mean, I don't think I had to, but I used crutches for a while. I was on crutches for a long while.
John, your story reminded me of a story. So my grandfather is in a wheelchair. So when they had in their old house, they had carpet. So my grandmother had a bunch of like plastic mats put down, and sometimes they would lay flush, but sometimes one would overlap the other.
The
Yeah.
ridges.
Yeah. So me being a surly child that I was, I found my grandmother's walker, and it had 4 wheels.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, ride on the plastic.
Yeah.
So I'm like riding one way, riding the other. When I hit the other one, the wheel caught the lip of the plastic. I did a somersault over the walker and landed on both my knees. And
Ouch.
it actually, I landed on my knees where it curled in, and I actually knocked all of the wind out of me.
Oh.
So my knees hurt, and I was out of air.
Wow.
Ouch.
I have one other story.
Okay.
I was at one of the local parks on the swing set, and so I jumped off the swing set and I landed it's like I was flying, and I landed straight down and then knocked the wind out of me.
That's the worst.
Also, one other time I was on the monkey bars in elementary school. That was 3 stories. That's it. That's all I got.
The monkey bars were 3 stories. Okay.
Yeah, 3 stories high,
Story time.
and I lived to tell the tale.
That's
Good job. Okay, for me, I fractured both my arms, but not in the same time. It was different times. Okay, so I don't remember which one was first, but I was roller skating. I think the roller skating was the first time. There's a little step that goes down into the main rink. So on that step to the main
Skate
rink,
reflection?
I fell. Yes, it was.
Yep.
During
Wow.
it was skate reflections.
I was there too.
At that time?
That place
Name
is
dropping,
just
guys.
that place is just
That's why.
Treacherous place.
It's nice though. I still enjoy it.
I bruised
but
my tailbone
when you
there.
go down that step, be very careful, because I went down that step and I
Yep.
fell on my arm and I fractured it. I fractured it. So I had to have a cast on and everything.
Aw.
And then when I was ice skating, like John Luke's story, a child went in front of me,
Skating incidents.
and I didn't want to crush the child.
Right, yeah.
of course.
I'm constantly worried about
what do you
when
call it?
I do
had
that,
to
yeah.
dodge, and I
Yeah.
landed on my other arm, and that one fractured. So I had to have a cast on that one. So be very careful with skating.
Yeah, I'm a lot better on skates than a skateboard. The
I'm way
time
better on
I-
a skateboard.
That's crazy. The last time I ever touched a skateboard, I put one foot, and when I put the other foot, the skateboard left. I was in the same spot. and I fell
Skateboard left.
straight down.
I can
That's a good
snowboard and I
visual.
can surf, but I cannot skate. Skateboard.
Wow.
I cannot skateboard for the life of me.
That's weird.
I don't skateboard, I longboard. And
Hipster.
now, right? Yeah. But
They are
like,
different.
Hipster.
at this point, like, I'm awful on my left foot, but on my right foot, it's like, it's part of my body. It's like, it's so much, I feel so comfortable on there.
Is
It's,
your left foot not a part of your body?
no, it's,
No, it's
not.
not.
The skateboard, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Part man, part
I got you,
skateboard.
Juliet, I
No,
got
but like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like the right foot is on the board and you're
The
pedaling
right,
with
yeah,
the
and I'm
which
pedaling
one?
with the left foot.
Because the right is more stable for you.
Yeah, I do the same
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
So,
Really?
yeah. So,
You're goofy footed on right?
yeah, I'm backwards
Right?
for what I
I'm
like.
trying to figure out.
Yes,
too,
I
like,
do the
wait,
same
which
thing.
one
Yes,
is it? I don't even know. I just
I
have
keep
to
my
try.
Yeah,
left.
just don't skateboard?
Pushing my right.
Wait,
Yeah.
no. My left foot is on the board and my right is pedaling.
Okay,
I have
yeah.
to remember.
Yeah, it's weird. I just started that way, and so I think I got used to doing it
That's
that
how you
way.
learned.
Right. But, so, it feels super, super natural for me to be skateboarding now. It's like it's like the same as walking at this point. It's like
Wow.
not even,
Nice.
it's super easy, yeah.
So another thing with roller skating, I learned
More.
at skate
This is
reflection,
dangerous. Don't do this, kids.
and they usually go in one direction,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
the NASCAR. So if they
Right.
switched it around,
Left.
I left the floor because I'm not used to going the other
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm used to
Oh,
Yeah.
shuffling.
One left
going-
turn.
When they spin it around, it is kind of hard. You're like,
that's
wait, what?
true.
Right.
Huh.
it's so awkward. I just don't do it.
Have you all ever like went into the actual? Like, they'll have competitions, you know, like on a certain day.
Speed skating.
Have you ever contributed to that?
I think
or-
I saw
I've done a
somebody
couple
doing it
races,
backwards or
but-
I
something
don't know.
once, right?
Yeah, I think I
Gee,
did a
I
race
don't know.
once.
I never
Huh?
did it, but I
I
saw
don't
people
think I
going
did.
backwards.
Yeah, they do like
They
a
do
backward skate.
skates.
Couple
Yes.
skate. I remember when I was 15, couple skate comes on, you're like,
Everyone's
what do
like
I do?
awkward.
I saw the most amazing thing in a couple skate. As they were turning the corner, they were spinning.
Oh.
Whoa.
It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, I
It's
don't
crazy.
understand.
That's
I
how you
don't
win
either.
your
They're
heart.
like holding.
So as they were turning the corner, going left, their whole bodies were spinning in a circle.
But they
So
were,
basically, they were
rotated.
orbiting
They were
within
exactly, yeah.
the rink.
Wait, were they inlining or were they have?
They were on the quads.
were they
Oh,
holding
wow.
hands facing each other?
They were
They
they were
weren't-
literally dancing like hand in hand.
So they were facing each other.
Yes, they were facing each other.
For the fourth time.
Okay. I need you to draw this out for me, man.
I need a
But I didn't
diagram.
explain it correctly. They were facing,
So they just went like,
turning the corner and spinning.
Okay, I got you.
Wow, so they were like doing an orbit within themselves, also
Yes.
doing an orbit around
blew
the
my
metal
mind.
point. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It's
What's
fun.
your topic?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
my topic is night owls versus morning birds.
Oh, I have things to say.
It's a very controversial, monumental part of your life. It
Right.
depends on
This
what.
defines your life.
Yes, about how you spend
Part
your
of who you
time
are.
when you spend it. So
Yeah.
I don't know how we should go. Go Tati first. Go around.
What are you?
Oh, yeah.
What do I have to say first? Okay, I'm a night owl. It's very bad. It's very bad.
Me too.
Like 2 a.m. or later.
Do
I
you-
have issues.
Do you regret it in the morning?
Yes, I do every day. But
Every day of my life, yeah.
I used to, I used to be
Every day.
just like you.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
it's horrible.
I used to be the
am
same
just like
way.
Yes.
I'm not anymore, thankfully.
Good job. You have.
I've broken
what
out
do you
of
call
it.
Yes, you wouldn't hire.
You have transcended.
reached
I am
elevation.
also a night owl.
Mhm.
And I think that, well, I think a lot of people are night owls,
Yeah.
right, nowadays?
I
It's
am,
much
yeah.
easier to be a night owl.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I think, though, that I've always heard people that are night owls, like, everybody that is a night owl says
Yeah.
that says that they don't want to be, or they're
Right,
like,
yeah,
oh, I
I
wish I
agree.
was early bird.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I embrace the night.
I don't.
I am the
I
night.
never hear people that are like, yeah.
Gotham is
I don't
darker
hear
at
people
night.
that say like. I mean, I hear people saying that they do a lot more at night and like they get stuff done, but not really that like overall. It's like a more productive, better way of life.
Yeah.
Because you're just like tired all the time.
I agree. I think when I get past the getting up section, which is maybe like half an hour, then I enjoy being a morning person more because I actually get things done during that section.
Right.
And during the rest of the day, I'm like, oh wow, I did a lot of stuff that I would have been doing all throughout the day. I finished it already, so now I have more life. This is cool. But
More life to live.
yeah,
Good album.
but it's kind of weird, but when I'm at night, I'm going to just like watch a movie or I'm going to do something like that or whatever. So in the morning, I know I'm not going to be in the mood for any of that. So I'm going to get productive stuff done in the morning. So if I get up and I get past that, then I'm more productive in the morning, but I never get past that ever. So yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy it when I do it. And I did for a while after I watched Rocky go out and skateboard every morning, and I had like a more mental clarity throughout the rest of the day. It was
Rocky
super
for
cool.
the win.
Yeah.
But my question is, are you a morning, like if you're a morning person or a night owl, is it out of necessity? Like if you have to get up early to go to work,
Yeah.
do you like it? Or
Do you
just
become
do it
a morning
because you have
person?
to?
Right, that's a good question.
Okay,
That's-
By nature, or is it out of necessity?
no, in nature, I think.
So I think, truthfully, I'm both. Like today, I got up at 5:30, and it's 11:30, and I'm fine. When I was in school, I would get up at 5 o'clock every day and go to bed at 9 o'clock. Now I just stay up later. It honestly depends. It was based off necessity, but for me, getting up at 7 is harder than getting up at 5:30 at this point.
Wow. That's
Like
weird.
this morning, I got up at 5:30. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Shower, change, do a load of laundry, walk the dog, eat some food. I was good. But like getting up at 7, it's just it is the hardest thing.
Why?
I don't know. At like 7,
Once you sleep in by then, like you've passed your point of
No return.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sleeping till 1.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's if I'm gonna go for a run, just get up at 5 and go for a run, and I feel great.
That's awesome. Your 5 is my 7.
7 is
7
my
p.m.
11.
7 p.m.
That's awesome.
Oh goodness.
Much like you, I am both.
Yeah.
Because I do get up early out of necessity, but I feel like I'm more productive in the morning.
Yeah.
But I can stay up for however long I want and still get up at like 7 o'clock.
Wow.
And for me, if I'm off,
do that.
I have nowhere to be the next morning. My body still wakes up at 8 o'clock.
I do that when
I
I'm
can't
used
sleep
to
past 10 for some reason.
Ever?
I have to go back to sleep. I'll wake up again, then force myself back to sleep.
Yeah.
My body can't just
I mean, I kinda
sleep
go
till like
to
10 or
like a
11.
I can't get up past
Forever.
7:30. Like I can't sleep in past 7:30.
I just can't do it.
I can't do it.
My body just wakes up. And once I'm up, I'm up.
Yeah. Once, like, if I do something and I'm getting up a couple days in a row and I'm getting up at like 7, say, then usually the next day I'll sleep in a little bit, but I'll wake up at like 8 or something. But like when I don't have to wake up and I'm used to not waking up for a long time, especially with doing homeschool, I didn't need to at all. So I could sleep till like 10 or even 11, like no problem.
Same.
I wish I could, but I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I can sleep.
I was just
Sleeping
used
is
to it,
amazing
yeah.
point, but
I'll wake
starting
up
from-
But then
Go
there'll
back
be
to
days
sleep.
where
Yeah, same.
I'll wake up early and get like no sleep the night before. I'll be fine, and then one day I'll just like knock out on the couch for like 3 hours. Just like catch up.
My naps, weird, are always 2 hours. If I go to sleep, I wake up 2 hours later.
Wow.
Weird.
I can't do a 20-minute nap. It's
Also
so
in
weird.
the morning,
I can't get to
if I
sleep
try
in
to go
20
back
minutes.
to sleep, it's in like 15, 30-minute increments.
Really?
I can't sleep for an hour.
Wow.
It's like 15 minutes pass, I wake back up. 30
Wow.
minutes pass, I wake back up.
That's gotta be rough.
I
But
can't
that
take.
did save my life the other day.
Really?
Because my alarm went off at 6 o'clock.
And the house was on fire. No.
I was at 5:45. I woke up at 5:45. I'm like, all right, let me sleep a little bit more. I woke up at 6. I had to be at my job at 7. It was a good thing I woke up at
Yeah.
6, or I would have been late.
Right.
So
I can't take
that saved
naps.
my life.
Really?
I cannot take naps. I wake up angrier than when I went to sleep.
Wow.
It's a hereditary feature, unfortunately. Like me and my dad, when we take naps, we wake up like Wolverine.
Cranky.
Like
That's because like you probably completed like a cycle, started another one, and then ruined it halfway.
Yeah.
I
I've
My
done
cycle
that.
is perfect. Like when I wake
Yeah.
up, I'm like, this is awesome.
Like if you wake up at the end of a cycle, you feel good. But if you
Yeah.
disturb it like that, I know exactly. You wake up and you're just like, you're just groggy.
okay,
Gonna give people heart
two short
attacks.
stories. Like 2 short stories. I told my cousin to wake me up one time when he was leaving, and I woke up. I legit shot up. I was like, "What? Like what?" And he was like, "Ah, you good?" I'm like, "Yeah." One time,
You're like, yeah.
oh yeah, thanks, man. And then one time, I was at my uncle's place, and we had to leave at 6. And one uncle went to my other uncle. He's like, "It's 7. You guys are late. You gotta go. You gotta go." And they both tried to wake me up. They said they shook my body for 10 minutes.
What?
They could not
Wow.
wake me up. It was 2 in the morning.
Crazy.
Someone's clock was wrong.
Oh.
They went back
What?
to sleep. I did not wake up.
What?
They shook me and were
That's
yelling at me for
awesome.
10
That
straight
is
minutes.
awesome.
You know
I
what?
want that superpower.
That actually happened to my cousin. They went on a trip, a school trip to Europe, and so they flew to Europe.
Yeah.
They were there for like more than a week, and they barely slept on this trip. They were just up with their friends all the time, just whatever, going to different
Late
countries and
nights,
stuff. Late nights, they were barely sleeping and always doing something during the day. They got in, they came back, they came to my house after. We were like, okay, let's go have dinner with you guys or whatever. So my cousin had fallen asleep when the 2 of them got in, but one of them fell asleep on the bed. So everyone's like, oh, get Brian up, we're going to go down to go out to eat, whatever. So I go up to the room, he's sleeping, so I shake him, I'm like, hey man, we're going to go. This kid does not wake up, so I'm like nudging him, like, hey, let's go. This guy's not moving.
Yeah.
I grab this guy by his shoulder. I'm literally, I'm like full on, like I'm about to smack this kid. Like, I'm trying to. Maybe if I threw water might have done it. But by that point, I was just like, this kid is so exhausted from the, what do they call it?
Jet lag.
Jet lag
yeah.
and staying up all these nights. I was like, he literally was just knocked out from exhaustion. I'd never seen that before,
Wow.
and that was like, wow, impressive.
Sleep debt. That's the word. Sleep
Yeah,
debt.
and it was like, I never knew it was a thing. But I am. I'm a night person for sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind getting up in the morning, and like John Luke said, I really can't sleep in. Like the
Is
latest I
anyone
sleep is like
here
9.
a full morning person?
No.
I'd say yes. I'd say I am.
You are?
I
You
look
both
forward to
are.
waking up and drinking coffee.
I don't drink coffee.
I hate the
anymore.
mornings. If I could just get up and lay in my bed, I love it. But
Yeah.
the fact you have to get up and do
That's
something.
Yeah.
But like I said, now that I actually go to bed a little bit earlier than I did. Okay, and when I say I go to bed early, I'm talking like 12 o'clock.
That's okay.
Every night I was going to bed like 2 or 3 and getting up at 7. I was barely sleeping. So that years and years. I mean, that's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
happen.
That's what's gonna happen tonight.
No, I mean, like, well, I'll go home now. I'll knock out, like, no problem. But I just had, like, I had this fear, like, I was missing something. I
Same,
feel like
same.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like-
yeah.
it's not
Same.
fear of missing out. It's just like I could be doing something productive instead of sleeping. I'm a guy that, like, I like to take in information, and I'm constantly on the internet reading something. I'm
Yeah,
trying
me
to
too.
inform myself about something.
Google
I'm
News
trying to be
constantly.
kept up with. Yeah, I'm like reading the news, or I'm
Yeah.
trying to find out about a hobby. Yeah, I like to be connected, and I like to always know what's going on. And I feel like I'm like, sleep's such a waste of time. I'm like sleeping, like I could be doing something else productive, like learning something on guitar, or I don't know. And you just push yourself to stay up. Last night I got home around 10:30, knocked out. Woke up at 3. Stayed up from 3 to like 5.
What?
And then I sleep from 5 to 7, and it tortures me because then I wake up at 7 and I'm like,
Yeah.
why did I do?
I've
It's
read a
like-
book all night and not slept before. I've done that a couple times actually.
I know, I
Nerd.
would knock out.
I know,
My
right?
eyes wouldn't let me.
I'm kidding. I love reading.
And then there'll be days you're like, you had a long day. You're like, I can't wait to get home. I'm gonna just go right to bed. Then you get to bed.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah,
Still up.
exactly.
Then you're on
Yeah.
your phone. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
Go to sleep.
like one way
Nope.
to get to sleep I heard is like you don't try to, like you try just to relax and you don't try to get
Yeah.
to sleep because otherwise you're not
I fall
sleeping.
asleep every night with my laptop dead next to me, my phone across the bed, like not plugged in. Like, because if I sometimes if I try, it's like almost you can't. So I just do something else and then
Yeah,
just knock out.
And they say you're not supposed to look at your phone.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Because
Right.
that messes
Blue light
you
filter.
up.
That's why it has night
ruined
mode.
that one.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Blue light
30 minutes
filter,
to an
baby.
hour.
That's all you need.
Blue light filled.
It messes with your melatonin.
I'm terrible. They say you
Yeah.
should only go into your bed when you're going to sleep. Like you should never just be in your bed doing
Yeah.
activities. I get into
I
my
don't agree with
room,
that
I jump on
statement.
my bed, and I'm
Yeah.
there the entire evening and night. Like I'm
Yeah.
in my bed.
I can't. I'm in my room to sleep. That's it. Get dressed and sleep.
I probably should.
I'm
do
in
that.
my room all the time.
I walk into my house. I open up the fridge, grab a water, walk into my room, close the door, don't move. There the whole night in my room.
Like I try not to have a lot of tech in my room. Like I plug my phone in because that's my alarm. Only other thing's a record player. That's the only tech I have in my room.
I dragged my 65-inch TV screen into my bedroom.
I have a TV mounted on my wall. So,
Wow.
Yeah,
Where- where do you
I'm pretty
store the
good
rest
though
of
now.
your
Like
technology?
I'm avoiding it.
Like downstairs or like I just sleep right.
If I had people in my house, like when I lived with my family, that's what I did. Like I got home, we ate dinner together, we hung out together. Like I mean, we would put on the TV for a little bit, whatever. But
Yeah.
you're mainly with people talking and doing stuff. I wasn't like a recluse in my room, just boom. But now that I'm by myself, am I going to be sitting in my living
Right?
room?
Yeah.
Was
Why
staring
do
at
I
a
have all
wall,
these
like,
rooms?
I only have the option of talking to someone on the phone, going out to do something, or
yeah.
Yeah.
or just being in my bed. Like
Any other subtopics?
Yeah. Other subtopics.
Can you be both? We already went over there.
On both.
Both.
Yeah, I'm not. I am both. I don't sleep, but I'm not both.
Night bird versus morning owl. What is that? Troll.
I was like, why is it always a night owl? Why can't it be a night bird?
I know.
Night
Why can't it be a
bird.
morning
a
owl?
Nightingale.
Yeah, I want to be a
Are you
morning
a
owl.
nocturnal animal or a what's the
A
non-nocturnal?
raccoon. That's what it should be.
Wow. Okay. We're all nocturnal animals.
But isn't it
not
true? Like
normal.
if you were like a night owl, like you'll feel really tired around 10 to 11. Then after you pass that time,
Yes.
you have the energy to
Oh,
do
yeah,
whatever
you get a
want
second
to.
wind.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I can
take
over the
world.
Yeah.
It'll be like that until like 2.
But it's like now is sleeping time. Why did I have this energy now? Why could I not have it when I needed to do stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then up to a certain point at the night, you just start getting delirious and everything is funny.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, this is the best.
I'll be looking at
We
me.
were at that
Like,
thing.
The dumbest thing will just make you crack up.
Where are we now?
Yeah. What's the next?
Oh wait, are we like done with time though?
Yeah. I mean, we're probably.
We all got to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got to go
work.
save some kids tomorrow.
You gotta
Alrighty.
return some hardware.
Turn some
Gotta
hardware.
go.
Gotta go type
Move
some
some
stuff.
freight.
Cool.
I'll probably be helping my dad with solar or something.
Good job. It's like tomorrow I need to submit medical things. Like,
All right.
Alrighty. Well.
This is episode 7?
Yeah. This was episode 7. Thank you for listening, guys.